What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham fan TV. Now, before we get into this video, I just got to tell you one thing. Have you ever wanted to beat an Arsenal fan? I'm sure most of you have, and this is your chance. This is William Hill's final one standing Beat Robbie edition. I went pretty far in the last 500k promotion, just a bit further than Robbie actually. But this promotion is great. All you got to do is outlast Robbie to win a share of £50,000. Now, it's the same as the last final one standing. All you got to do is pick one Premier League team each week. If they win, you're through. And if they draw or lose, you are out. Terms and conditions do apply. You have to be in the UK or Ireland to participate. Over 18, and please gamble responsibly. But this is your chance. Beat Robbie and be the final one standing. And if you beat him and he goes out, win a share of £50,000. Go and click the link down below or the QR code to participate. But thank you very much. And now back to the video. What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video. And after a very international, very interruptive international break, we are back to face Bournemouth. And we will do that without the man we'll talk about next. But during the international break, you would have seen there was some criticism flying about of some of our players, and none other than Jared Bowen got a little bit of criticism for his performance for the last England game. But Carlo Ancelotti has dug his heels into not only Lucas Paqueta, but West Ham fans. And we'll be talking about who will replace him against Bournemouth in a second. But I've got to read you these little quotes from Ancelotti here. Let me just try and find them again. There we go. So Sport Glimpse has reported, which was an interview with Carlo Ancelotti. He says he sends a strong message to West Ham fans after Lucas Paqueta's play for Brazil versus Tunisia. He, of course, stepped up to take a penalty. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of Lucas Paqueta's penalties. The way he steps up, the way he slowly approaches the ball, the way he does that little delay and then tries to do it. It always makes me nervous when players do that. I like players like Julian Dix who just put their foot through the ball, and no matter even if the goalkeeper goes that way, they will save it. But as you could have seen against Tunisia, the score was 1-1, and I think it ended 1-1 as well. And he stepped up to take a penalty. They had a penalty at first, and then he changed it to Lucas Paqueta, who says normally takes them pretty well. But I'll read you the quotes in a minute. And he blazed it over. This is Tunisia. This is Brazil and Tunisia. So it says here, Carlo Ancelotti sends quiet but pointed message to West Ham fans after Lucas Paqueta's display against Tunisia. Brazil's 1-1 draw with Tunisia in Lille has generated plenty of discussion. Being in Lille, of course, it'd be good because although Lucas is not playing this weekend, it means he hasn't had to travel, particularly among West Ham supporters monitoring Lucas Paqueta's form. The midfielder delivered an active and energetic display, dropping deep to link play and pushing forward to create openings. Yet the night will be remembered for his missed second-half penalty to deny Brazil potential victory. He controlled the majority of the match, moving the ball with fluidity and creating several promising chances. Paqueta was involved in much of the build-up, showing his confidence on the ball, willingness to take responsibility. However, moments of hesitation in the final third, which we've seen a lot this season, proved costly. A delayed pass during a promising attack drew frustration, and a missed penalty overshadowed the many positive aspects of his performance. So although he played well, there was a couple of things that he was going to be criticised for. After the match, Ancelotti addressed Paqueta's performance and directed quietly critical message to both the player and West Ham fans. Known for his composed but impactful delivery, the Brazil manager offered remarks that combined support, expectation, and a subtle challenge. Speaking on Paqueta, Ancelotti said, Lucas is a fantastic player, but football doesn't forgive hesitation. He played well in many phases tonight, but moments like this like the penalty, require absolute clarity and responsibility. Ancelotti acknowledged the reactions from the Brazil and West Ham supporters following the draw. Nothing that frustrations from fans is natural. However, he stressed the importance of channeling that frustration constructively rather than allowing it to turn into negativity. Now, that is something that we are known to do. We are very good. We can be very negative, but we expect better from players like the Brazil number 10. So he continued, I hear some West Ham fans reacting strongly and I understand their disappointment, but frustration should never become hostility. At the same time, if your fans expect greatness from you, you must show greatness when it matters. That's the price of talent. The coach emphasized that Paqueta reminds one of Brazil's most gifted midfielders, but challenged the player to demonstrate sharper decision-making in decisive scenarios. He urged West Ham fans to maintain their support, but also demand a level of consistency that the top players must deliver. Lucas must be sharper, Ancelotti added. He has the quality to win matches, not complicate them. Support him, yes, but demand more from him too. Ancelotti's measured critique sends a clear message as both Brazil and West Ham look ahead to important fixtures. Paqueta remains a key figure to the club and country, but responsibility and composure in pivotal moments will determine how far he rises. For West Ham supporters, the coach's comments serve as a reassurance and a reminder their star midfielder possesses immense ability, but unlocking his full potential requires both backing and high expectations. Now that's great. That's a good comment from Ancelotti. Support him, but demand more from him. Is what the message is there. I think he takes it too easy sometimes. I think he's too lax in concentration sometimes. Look, listen, we know he's had a lot of nonsense going on over the last couple of years, really, in terms of the charges that he was up to. Then he got charged the other week. Then he was telling everyone that he wanted to go back to Flamengo. But then he done the whole thing with the phone and chucking it away. Listen, he's a great player, Lucas Paqueta, but he does need to show more. And especially, this is going to be his final season in a West Ham shirt. Let's be honest with it. And in the position that we find ourselves in, we do need more from players like Lucas Paqueta. Look, listen, Lucas Paqueta isn't the only one that deserves a lot of criticism. There is a lot of players that deserve a lot of criticism. Defenders that have cost us so much money, and just haven't delivered. And you should be expecting them more. But it just goes to a reminder that there is some issues with Lucas, and we need to get, at least for this season, to get us out of the shit, to get more. But as I said. We look forward to Bournemouth, and he isn't not available for Bournemouth because he's collected another 5 bookings. Listen, some of the bookings that he collects, obviously a very hot topic in the FA a couple of years ago. But some of the bookings he does collect are needless. But he will be without. We will be without him for Bournemouth. Bournemouth are a very good, a decent side this season, and they go into it very confident. But we have to go into it without Lucas Paqueta. Now, who replaces Lucas Paqueta? But there is responses from the manager this week that hints that Luis Guilherme may come into the side and let maybe Somerville tuck on the inside. There is also reports that George Earthy may be the man chucked straight into the mixer to provide cover for Lucas Paqueta. Now, I am torn against this one. There's also talks that that James Ward-Prowse may get a recall, but I can't see that happening. But let's go Guilherme or Earthy. Oh dear, this is a tough one because I know Luis Guilherme started the season really well, but I also knew George Earthy is a great player. Who would I like to see come in? Do you know what? Somerville on the left still, and I'd stick with George Earthy. I'd go with George Earthy. George Earthy, I was just looking at this the other day, under-18s team that beat Arsenal, who included Waneri and Lewis Skelly in that under-18s team, 5-1. A lot of them haven't been given the opportunity. Obviously, Freddie Potts has come in, and Freddie Potts is looking to continue to play in that midfield role, which he should, because it's been a lot of him that has sort of changed the fortunes of the last couple of games. His leadership, his qualities on the ball and off the ball. He's going to chuck in another youngster in there, going to be a little bit too much. I mean, they're both youngsters, but in terms of like first team experience, Guilherme just tips him on that. But George Earthy is a talented player, and I would like to see George Earthy come in. I want to see Guilherme at some point. I don't know where Guilherme goes. Maybe pushing Bowen up front, maybe pushing Guilherme on the right at some point, if obviously Callum Wilson breaks down. But yeah, I want to see George Earthy chucked in there. I want to see what he can do because I like the thought of these youngsters coming in. Freddie Potts has shown it. Very hungry, determined to succeed, want to make their mark on the Premier League, want to make their mark on games. And obviously, we've got another youngster in there, Fernandez, who was brilliant against Burnley. Do you know what? 3 youngsters in there. Is that enough? Do you know what? The energy would be there. The energy would be there. So, like pushing Somerville over, yeah, it could work. Um, but I want to see Earthy put in there. I want to see that this sort of new midfield. We've been moaning about our midfield for too much for too long over the last couple of years about the lack of pace. You know, obviously we've got people like Suchek who I think has got a massive role to play. I think he's shown in the past couple of games just how important he is after getting a lot of criticism. But I want to see the emergence of a new midfield. And although we are in trouble, and I think this would have been better in the last, well, I said the last couple of games, but the couple of games before that against Leeds and Brentford, which we lost, to experiment, at higher energies. I also do think that we've put ourselves within touching distance where we can see if that works, especially against a team like Bournemouth, who we're not expecting to go and see win. I don't want to see the likes of Rodriguez and Ward-Prowse in that midfield anymore. I want the emergence of a new dynamic midfield, and I think George Earthy would fit that. Lucas Paqueta obviously takes his place when he comes back, but chucking him in and trying him in a game like this, I think there's worse things to be done. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below, and what are your predictions for Bournemouth? Do you know what? I'm going to go for an optimistic 2-2 draw in this one. I fancy us to continue to form. I think the international break may have disrupted us, but we'll see coming up. They are a very good team, Bournemouth. Semenyo is probably the best player in the league right now, and we've got to, we're at shaky defence. We've got to make sure that he is, he is wrapped up in cotton wool and kicked to the side. To be quite honest with you, because he could tear us to pieces. People like Real Madrid and Liverpool chasing him heavily. It looks like he may be running down. He's didn't go Real Madrid. That's how good a player he is. He's excellent. But yeah, I think we're in good form. And I fancy, what I'm going to go for? A 2-2 draw. And I'm going to go for Callum Wilson to score against his old club with a little touch of magic. There we go. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget, go and check out the William Hill Final One Standing Beat Robbie, where you got a chance to win £50,000 if you beat Robbie. All you got to do is click the link in the description or click the QR code to participate. UK and Ireland residents only. Please gamble responsibly. You must be over 18 to play. But there you go. Thank you very much. One thing left for me to say. Come on, you Irons.